everyone, it's me, Madison, once again, and we are here with our Thanksgiving series. We are going to be challenging ourselves once again, because this one's going to be kind of a difficult one, but it's going to be fun. I'm challenging you guys to find any bowl in your house. I found this beautiful bowl slash vase that we have here at Flowers for Dreams, and we're going to be making a low and lush centerpiece for a Thanksgiving table, because we're feeling thankful and we want the table to look beautiful. So we're going to get that, all right? So again, I have this beautiful bowl right here that we're gonna use, and then in order to keep our flowers in place, we're gonna be using something called chicken wire. So not only could you use this to rattle in some chickens, but we use it a lot inside of floristry, inside of low bowls where you're gonna have to cut the stems in some weird lengths and the flowers are gonna be heavy and wanna like tip out, and it's a really low bowl. You're gonna want like a structure in there that's gonna be like, that's gonna hold everything. So we're actually gonna like curve this into a ball and put it in our vase and then stick the flowers in there, and you're gonna see that nothing's gonna move, which is awesome. Now let's get into some of our stems. For our greenery, which is used commonly in a lot of low and lush things because we want it to be low and long and spread out into the middle of our table, we use gunny eucalyptus. Not only does it smell amazing, but it has these really beautiful long stems that really build length and fill up a vase very well. So it's gonna go for our low and lush style perfectly. Next we have just a branch of thistle. This one's gonna be a really pretty accent that we're gonna have, adds texture. They're very spiky and they have like that really nice soft grayish blue. So that's gonna look very pretty next to our gunny eucalyptus. Next is going to be our stock. So stock is very beautiful. We've used it before many times. Again, this is in the family that is related to broccoli and cabbage, known as the brassica family. So the only difference is it smells super sweet and very good. So very excited to use this as always. I guess this DIY is just full of brassicas and things in the cabbage family because we're using kale. Yes, we're gonna use this beautiful kale rosette. And then I'm gonna show you guys how you can actually take a couple of these leaves off and then flip them inside out like we do with a lot of our roses. That's called reflexing. So I'll show you guys how to do that with your kale. Then we have these mums. These are some beautiful mums that we use. They're that really pretty spiky purple color, and they're very pretty. I'll give you a little close up right there. Hopefully y'all can see that a little better. Absolutely lovely. They also have, since the petals are really like long and spiky, they have some movement to them. Very pretty, so very excited about those. Those are called nexus mums. Very pretty. Purple nexus mums. And then we have these cushion palms. Again, they are very beautiful next to our nexus mums, and they kind of emulate the same color, that really pretty purple, and they're going to be really great fillers for our low and lush arrangement. So very excited to use all of these stems today. So let's get started. So first what we're gonna do, and remember, we're challenging ourselves. We are gonna be confident going to this. Remember, it's just me and you, so if you get frustrated, that is okay. I know you can do it. We've been in this journey together for too long for you not to get it. You got this. So we're gonna take our chicken wire, and we're gonna actually fold it in on itself. It's very bendy, it should bend very easily, and we're gonna make like a ball. So you kind of just fold it into a ball. You can also use some of those end pieces to kind of like grab the other pieces and bend them in towards each other so that ball stays. It doesn't have to be perfect. You want it to be big enough to the point where it fills your vase and isn't like slipping around. But you also want it to be circular enough where it has layers so you can like stick things in it and then nothing is moving. So that's really nice. And then we're gonna, once we have our ball, we're gonna take that, we're gonna shove that into our vase. Just literally shove it into our vase. Once I get it in there, I kind of like to spread it out a little bit just so it stays in place and it doesn't move as much. You don't want it to slip out, so push it down and then spread it out a little bit. If you guys can see a little bit, it should be in there really nice. Hope you guys can see that. Yeah, and then we're gonna start putting stuff in it. All right. So the first thing we're gonna start with is our gunny eucalyptus. So with long, low and lush, you want there to be some long pieces that spread out. So what I like to do is look at all my pieces of gunny and find a few pieces that are really pretty, and then set those to the side. So like this is gonna be really pretty. So I'm gonna save these so that they're kind of, you know, stretching outward. And then I'm gonna use the other pieces that aren't so much, and I'm gonna use those to fill the vase. Because I really want that long, beautiful, lush look. So we're gonna start filling. Remember, it's low and lush. So it's gonna be a little low in the middle, kind of. And really long and spread out towards the sides. So we're literally just gonna start cutting and putting those through our chicken wire. Remember, no greens in your water. We've talked about this so many times. No greens in the water. Just because there's chicken wire in there doesn't mean that rule changes. Really get in there. I'm gonna use a couple of those pieces, like this one right here, to really fill my vase. With Low and Lush too, since it's a centerpiece, it's gonna be seen from literally all angles. So you wanna make sure that you're looking at your vase from all angles. So everyone who's at your beautiful Thanksgiving meal can, or at any dinner table if you don't celebrate, can see your beautiful arrangement and doesn't see any holes or anything. So all right, so we got the middle filled out. So now we're gonna take those pieces that I was talking about that you really liked, and we're gonna use those. We're gonna use those to really fill out the sides and make them long and stretch out. Take off your bottom leaves, give them a fresh cut, and then we're just gonna build out those sides. Now, if you're like, this doesn't look like enough green, the thing about Low and Lush is everything's pretty low. So everything, those flowers really fill up those empty spaces. So don't worry too much if you're like, this doesn't look like enough greens. It is. You got a lot of flowers going into this. Low and Lush is the word lush. It's very full of flowers. Very common in like weddings, events, center tables for like an event or anything. It's very common in that way. So again, we're building out those sides so that it stretches across the table. So use your greens to do that. Again, use any leftover pieces to fill any gaps where you're like, she's looking bald. Turn around, make sure you got the same vibe going on both sides. Use all those little greens you have on your table. No stem left behind. All right, so now you're gonna look and you're gonna make sure that your front is your front, your back is your back, and your sides are your sides. I think I got a good shape going on. I'm happy with it. And now we're gonna start adding. So, first thing I'm gonna add is I'm gonna do our focals, because those are like the focal parts of everything. So I'm gonna do my kale and my mums. So first I'm gonna start with my kale, because it's gonna take me the longest to reflex this. So we're gonna take this. This is way too big, like I don't need all of this. Kale grows in a growth pattern where it like just keeps growing leaves across the stem, and then this middle part is known as like a meristem, and it keeps growing from the top. That's why when you harvest kale, you harvest from the bottom and you just keep going up. So there's just kale leaves like all down the stem. We don't need any of that. We love the growth pattern of kale and how it feeds us so, but for our oriental kale, we don't need all of that. So we're gonna take off a lot of those actually, just so it sits nice too. You don't want this big bulky thing. You just want the rosette. So that should be enough. And then you take these petals and then you flip them inside out like we would do with roses. And again, this is called reflexing. You go boop boop and you just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going down the sides till you get to the middle. And it actually goes really fast because with rose petals, they're very fragile, but kale-like petals or leaves are very strong. So it's actually very easy. They're very sturdy, and you literally just go ploop, 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 ploop. That's the sound effect that I'm doing for flipping them inside out. And you just kind of open up that middle a little bit, and then bam, you have a beautiful kale rosette that's opened and beautiful and large, and she's a stow shopper. She is. So we're gonna give her a nice fresh cut. Now remember, since we're doing low and lush, some of these stems are gonna be cut a lot lower. You don't want anything too long, especially like your focals and stuff. Take off a few of those bottom leaves. Kale is so big, and if you don't trim it, it just becomes very bulky. We don't want the bulkiness in there, so we're gonna right there, right in the center, and then bam, got this beautiful kale rosette right here. And she is a showstopper, so we're gonna make sure we add some things that are gonna accent her. All right, now we're gonna go in with our Nexus Mums. Take off those sleeves. And again, cut them pretty low. And we're gonna put them, I like to, whenever I'm doing low and lush, a lot of the things are like on a diagonal and really spread outward. And I try to balance, like it's going outward and having some things in the middle. So I have one of my mums going this way, and then the other one going that way. I have one like right next to my kale, so it brings out the purple in my kale. So that one's really nice. I think I'm gonna do one more. As we all know, as I've said many times with y'all, I do love doubles. So I'm gonna put this one right next to the other one because that's just how I like it. But hey, artistic freedom is what I say. All right, so next what we're gonna go in is we're gonna go in with our stock. So these stocks are really cool because they build length in the bouquet. So I'm gonna use these to kind of like be outward and frame a little bit, but also fill in a little space. Take off some of these bottom leaves. Take off some of those bottom leaves again from our kale. Again, use those to build length. Always readjust your greens to make sure that we're getting that long, low, and lush. Then with one of the kales, I think I'm gonna put them right next to each other. Take off any of those bottom leaves that are all right, beautiful. I'm actually gonna cut this one a little shorter. Remember, adjust as you go. You know what you want your end goal to look like, so adjust as you need to. Beautiful. Now spin it around, see how she's looking from both sides. With low and lush, a lot, especially if you're stock, you always want to like turn them upward. You don't want your bouquet to look sad, so I always recommend turning your stems upward. So it kind of frames it better. There we go. There we go. This is why looking at every angle is super important, so you can make sure that one side isn't like super bald. All right, so now we're gonna go in with our filler. So our filler is gonna be like, it's gonna fill in some of those spots that you're seeing where you're like, oh, there's nothing there. Also, what's really important with low and lush is playing with your heights. Some things are gonna be shorter, some things are gonna be deeper. You wanna make sure that it's like layered so it really fills in all of those naked spots. If everything is at the same height, it's gonna start to look really flat. So you want to make sure that some of your stems are really short and then some of them are longer. And if you're like, oh no, I cut my stem too short, that's okay. Just pull it out a little bit. That's why we have that chicken wire in there. So it's going to be able to hold those stems a lot better, so you can really pull something out a little more so it stretches outward. So you don't have to worry about, you know, if you did something a little too low. What's really cool about these is they have all these pieces, so you can like take the longer ones and make them long and stretch out more. So I'm gonna take some of the longer pieces and really build, again, length and depth, because that's low and lush. So many pieces. Take those and shove them in places where you're like, oh, I could really use a little something right there. And then take those fuller pieces that are really big and really fill in all those naked spots. Put that one right there. Remember, we want to make sure we're following the pattern that we did with our greens. So it should be like that hand stretcher, it should be like it sprays across. All right, we're gonna cut off some of those long pieces that we can use later to fill in any spots. Again, Low and Lush is so beautiful. It's so elegant, in my humble opinion. As you're doing this, since gunny yuke is very like spindly and like fragile, you want to make sure that when you're putting things in, you're fluffing out your greens to make sure that they're still there, and you know, that you're not like tucking them into the chicken wire. We want them to kind of spray out of our vase, so it's important that you're being cautious and very just thinking about your placement, you know? Adjusting as we go. All right. Then lastly, we have some beautiful kale. Gonna take off this little piece right here and add a little accent on this side. Then I'm gonna take it, and since this one is like the only one that we're putting in there, I'm gonna make sure that it kind of is this star, not the star, but a star. Star in her own way, and make sure she's seen. She can be seen. Then I'm gonna take these final pieces and really tuck them in places, making sure that they can be seen. What's really cool about Low and Lush is the reason why it's low in the first place is because when you're at a dinner table, you want to see people's face. Like you want to talk to them, and you want to, or like at a wedding, you would want to like see the bride and the groom, or the bridal party, or your homies that you're sitting across from. So it has to be low so it does not obstruct the view. So Low and Lush is, that's the main reason why they're used a lot at weddings and events, you know? You want to see the beautiful faces of the people you're eating with. I would hope so. All right, finishing touches. Again, do a quick check. If something looks flat, like if the area looks flat, play with your heights. Remember, curve those stalk upward. Really have those branches of facing outward. Make sure that kale doesn't look too lonely, because that can't happen because it's so big, you know? Like, it might look a little too big, so make sure that it's surrounded by friends. That's cute, like imagining that all the flowers are friends in your vase. I think they are. Ooh. Be gentle with your bouquet. Don't let it slip out. Don't. Making sure I'm using all my stems. Remember, no stem left behind. Really challenging ourselves this week, guys. We really are. Very proud of all of you. You guys have come so far. All right. And we are all good. I mean, again, Low and Lush is good for those like dinner table settings where you want to make sure you're seeing the guests of your face, but the faces of your guests, excuse me. But you still want to make sure that you have something beautiful and bountiful on your table for Thanksgiving or any event. Again, we have these long, spindly gunny ukes that really spread across the bowl. And then we have these like stalks on the side here that frame it well and really make sure that we have that like long lush look going on. And then we have these beautiful purples that are all on different heights. So then we have depth in our bouquet and it doesn't look flat. And then we have a little pop to make a little texture in there. So yeah. Thanks for joining me this week. As always, it has always been a pleasure. Don't forget to send me a picture of your Low and Lush arrangement in the email that is below. And it's been Madison, and I'm so happy to be here. So yeah, see you next week. All right, bye.